to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag and Oakbridge Wealth Management. I'm Matt Perkins, joined as always by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how are we doing today?
We're good. I'm still tired from last weekend at the Alabama game, but every day's a holiday. We got one of our favorite people back with us. But dude, 41 is a way different age than 22 and 18 when we were hanging out, Clint.
Day 6 of recovery now. Yeah, I guess you just bounce back a lot quicker. You know, you get hit in the knee. It's okay. I stubbed my toe now. And I'm like, how did I ever get hit by somebody? Because I was a baby back then. Now you go out to Wando's for a minute and geez.
I walk in there, my back starts hurting almost immediately.
Exactly. But I'm glad you had a good time. That means you had a good time.
I had a very good time.
It's always a good time in Madison, even if the Badgers are losing, which is what they did this past weekend. But before we get into it, want to remind everyone listening that we continue to be presented by BetOnline.ag, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on the $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to the online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker, unwind with over 150 different slot games and more. Head on over to the website today. That's betonline.ag to get in on the action. Bet Online, the game starts here. And of course, our friend Chris Anicetti and his team at Oakbridge Wealth Management. If you are a current or future professional athlete, or you are an NCAA scholarship athlete with NIL deals, Chris Anicetti is the person to get in touch with to get your money right. He and his team do one thing, and that is focus on taking care of money for professional and NCAA athletes. They take care of your money so you can focus on what you do best, which is perform on the field. Get in touch with Chris and his team, and they will create a bespoke wealth management plan for you to make sure that your money is right. Get in touch with Chris on Instagram at Oakbridge_Anicetti. That's Oakbridge_ANICETE. Or get in touch with Chris and his team on their website at oakbridgewealthmgmt.com. That's Chris Anicetti and Oakbridge Wealth Management. All right, hope you enjoy the show. And what they seem to be, I don't want to say set up to do, but it's not looking great at the moment, Clint, with the injury to Tyler Van Dyke. And I think sort of our number one thing that, is going to need to be addressed here is, can they figure out a sustainable offense behind Braden Locke? And, I have my critiques of his style of play and certain things that he does, but Clint, I guess just from what I want to know from you is like, what can they do to potentially set him up for success? Can they set him up for success? Is that even possible?
Well, I mean, were we having much success before? I don't know, but like the guy. So here's the thing. The one thing with him, like he came in, it almost it's different than Schaeber, because Schaeber's like, what? Well, I'm going in, like when you're not ready for that in the big moment, it's like, I'm not even supposed to be out here. Like there's nothing to lose. Like Braden's he's got some time under his belt, but what he doesn't have is the reps going into these games. And so like, Tyler was supposed to be the dude. We know at first, is going to take Miami to Wisconsin. Like there's just all kinds of different things going on there. So you knew there was going to be some, period where not everything was going to be perfect, but that's why you like to not have Alabama early in the season, so you can kind of work those things out and they don't kill your quarterback. Braden Locke, he's capable. He is tough. He's intelligent. And when he gets reps and gets in a groove, and you saw he got in a groove for a little bit at Alabama, and this offense is designed for guys to dink and dump. So he's got the ability to work in the system. He has experience. He's not getting an opportunity to I think he's got a little cowboy in him. You guys might say no, but he does. I remember when we watched his high school film. I mean, and his Mississippi State film, he's got a little cowboy in him. And so we need to let that cowboy bring his lasso out. We need to get him reps during the week. And the one thing is he's dialed in. He was prepared going into that game, regardless of reps or not. He's going to continue to dial in. And he's the type of kid that is going to help Mabry develop, even though he's getting his chance. I guarantee you, and this is why, you recruit the family and you understand a kid and he's a part of the program. Those are people that help you win. And I think he's a very capable quarterback. He's done it before, but he's also selfless. He's a team guy. So he's going to sit there and help Mabry. And I think if Mabry didn't get hurt and have the injury stuff and, he had to focus on that before he could focus on even the mental transition of college, the mental football, the speed of the game, all of these things. Like Mabry's got every physical tool to be there too. So it's kind of like, I think of Locke as like the Gardner Minshew. It's like the dude just goes out, he probably has a mustache right now. And, but he's smart and he just makes plays and he's not scared. And that's what I love about him. Like the game didn't get too big for those first couple passes. But if you've ever seen those Alabama dudes in person coming at you, I would have just kneeled the ball and like kind of gone into the fetal position until I was ready.
Well, Clint, you also, he probably, listen, no matter what and how much you prepare, you're still the backup and you're going out there going, I'm not playing today. Yeah. Or like, maybe I'll get in at some point. You're not expecting sixth play for your quarterback. He didn't even get hit that hard. He just came down, doofed on his leg, right, Matt Perkins? So, like,
that's how knees
you're
go.
not expecting that. And all of a sudden, you're coming in, you're holding a clipboard or holding something or holding nothing, to be honest. And you're like, wait a second, we're going to go to TV timeout and you're going to get a football and throw it to somebody. And then you're in the game against Alabama. Could be against anybody. It could really be against anybody, but Alabama's a little bit of a bigger stage.
But you're playing an NFL team instead.
Touche. My issue, Clint, I'd love to hear what you think is, I didn't think the first series should have been a bunch of handoffs, right? Or some pass. The announcer said it. We did nothing to get him rolling. And that's like the first half we didn't do anything to get him rolling, maybe at the end of the half. But we didn't do rollouts. Like we didn't really – I don't want to see – first of all, I don't think Braden Locke's a runner. Like he doesn't want to do run-pass option. I think he's a gunslinger.
He can do it.
He can do it. I'm not saying he can't. But again, you're setting
him –
up –
He's not the biggest guy.
But, dude, that guy, number 22, had like 16 sacks and 15,000 hits. I'm not running run-pass option to that guy. Like, I don't want to see him and Braden Locke even eating lunch at the same table. So the question is, what can Phil Longo do to get Braden Locke going? And what could he have done in the Alabama game to get him rolling a little bit faster? So it's a very slow start to me.
Yeah, no, well, think about the predicament you're in as an offensive coordinator in that position. It's usually not 6 plays into the game, and it's usually not the guy that you said, we're bringing him in for the year because he can help us win right now. Mm-hmm. So then you're thinking, okay, tell me the depth chart. Could you rip it off after Braden Locke?
No.
Yeah. It's true freshman Mabry Montoya.
I could say Mabry, yes.
It's a redshirt freshman Cole LaCrue, and then there's a walk-on after that.
Okay. So the first thing in your head is, how can we stay in this game? And we don't have another guy who can literally take a snap under center right now. So you're in a serious predicament. Your entire week of preparation has gone out the window. Now, you're going to use the same call sheet. But your biggest thing is like, if we don't protect this kid, what do we do next? They might have been in Wildcat. Now, I think this is a great opportunity for Mabry to, if he's ready. Quarterbacks aren't always ready. You could be the most talented guy ever. Do you remember when they threw? Oh, we were in Iowa. I got like Scout Team Player of the Week or something, so I got to go. And they threw OD in the game, and he burned his red shirt he was running for his freaking life out there. And I was like, I've never seen OD look like that, you know?
It was a bad day. And it wasn't his redshirt year, I don't think. But it was
our true freshman year.
No, because I was playing in that game. I'm pretty sure.
No, his first snaps, dude, I'm telling you, it was our true freshman year because he moved to tight end the next year.
That was a bad game. I mean, they literally put him in to feed him to the wolves. He was 100% not ready. One of the best athletes I've ever been around. And literally he'll tell you probably the same.
It's probably the best thing that ever happened to him.
100% is the best thing that he played 10 years in the league or whatever he did.
Yeah,
he won a Super Bowl.
Went to tight end, burned his red shirt, got to go, so the first thing that comes to Longo's head is I'm sure the head coach is like, we got to make this a defensive game. We've got to win with field position. Let's not turn the ball over. Let's be safe. And we got to protect our quarterback. You cannot have a true freshman who isn't a Dylan Raiola or something come in for the first time ever against Alabama. You'll Caleb Williams at Chicago Bears him. Okay. That ain't the time to do it. So you're thinking about the preservation of the game. Yes, you're thinking about winning as a coach. And maybe I'm stupid and I probably am. When I was at Minnesota, we went 1-10. I was like, we're going to beat Ohio State's ass this week. And I'd go home crying every week. And so, and I know he has that competitor in him, but this is a bigger picture thing. The odds of Wisconsin winning that game aren't high to begin with, right? But if you can sustain drives, protect your quarterback, and I love the O-line for the way they stood up, stepped it up in that game. They did a really good job because that was a big question of mine. They did a really good job. They were one of the bright points of what we saw. I saw a little more defensive cohesion, but as an offensive coordinator, you become so handcuffed because you already haven't been making explosive plays. And now you've got a guy that your number one thing is let's make sure we can go out on offense the next series and at least not put our defense in a bind. And that's what ended up happening. They got in a bind. There was quick plays. Ryan Williams was going to score a touchdown. It's just going to happen. He's a 17-year-old NFL player. He's faster than every single kid on Wisconsin running backwards. Jalen, Milroe in the open field, it's a different caliber of player. And the reason the Wisconsin, and I feel like the score was actually less representative of the way they played in that game than, when you look through scores at night, you're like, oh, Alabama beat them just like I thought they should have. But it didn't tell the story of the game. It didn't tell you that Tyler Van Dyke went out right away. It didn't tell you that they were physical with Alabama. I saw Tackett Curtis, scraping over players and, double reading and coming downhill and talking junk. I liked that. I liked that a lot. And so even though they knew their dire situation, they did play hard. Sometimes the wheels are going to fall off, and it's going to happen against teams that you're not supposed to compete against. Am I happy about what happened? No. But if you look at it from a pure, just a statistical analytics thing, they probably performed better than they should have considering the circumstance.
But again, we fumbled twice in the red zone. So
one after a 31-yard run, that's a game changer. At the very worst, you're flipping them back at their own 20, letting a quarterback who has shown that he can make bad decisions, not this year, not against Wisconsin, I guess, but maybe you get a fumble. Maybe he makes a bad decision. Maybe you do an exotic pressure and something happens, but you're spot on, Bernie.
But you're not giving them another touch. And
no
we got
question.
2 turnovers in the red zone, giving a team that can get 20 yards, 30 yards at a clip. You can't do that. And then once again, the end of the half, it's almost like even the Jets last night, the end of the first half was a debacle. When do we call a timeout? What are we doing? They're wasting time. And then they missed a field goal. It's
was that game on TV?
Amazon Prime only.
I'm just kidding. I was on a plane.
But those things are really important to football. Who said it? Matt Perkins. The last 4 minutes and the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's a Bill Belichick thing. That's
that's right.
The middle 4 and the middle 8. Yeah.
But I mean, listen, we gave up 2 plays for like 80 yards for a touchdown, and then 2 touchdowns on fumbles.
Believe that.
No, terrible. So sad.
Yeah. And I knew they were going to do it too.
Like, listen, I'll give them that because they just outplayed us in those 2 plays. But the fumbles, if you play a mistake-free football game, we still lose to Alabama, but the score is completely different, and I think it gives us confidence, right? Like 42-10, even Fickle's like, we got our butts kicked. I don't actually think we got our butts kicked. The score says that. Yes. But the game didn't dictate that we got our butt. They didn't run the football all over the place. Like, I mean, they did a little bit, but like they didn't really score 70 points and like literally own us. And we moved the ball a little bit. So,
yeah, and they've got Heisman caliber running backs. Like Justice is one of the best high school kids I've ever seen in my life. Like they rallied to the ball. The score doesn't show it, like you said, but they didn't give up. Everything was against them. They came in thinking they had a shot to win that game, and that gives me some hope.
So, Clint, moving forward, what do you need to see out of the Badgers that will give you hope? I mean, we're in a bye week, so talk about a bye week. We're watching film. We're probably saying, dude, we had 300 mistakes that all could have been corrected, and we can be competitive. Bye week, I think right now is so important for our guys. First off, they need to rally together. Stop listening to the hype and people getting pissed and being like, oh, this is subpar Badger. You know better than anyone. It can't happen after a year or 2 anymore. College football is too volatile. But what do the Badgers need to do this week and next week to prepare for a USC team that we're going there? It's going to be no easier.
No. It's not. And I've been around a lot of those USC kids when they were in high school, and they're different too. I do think they can be competitive. I do like the spirit of the team. I think during this bye week, because remember, like sometimes Barry would like when we thought we were going to get our ass absolutely ripped all week, like he knew when to kind of go easy on you. Like almost I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed thing. And I think this is a week to do that. Like, hey guys, we were a victim of circumstance, but we can't be a victim of circumstance moving forward. We've got to play good ball, especially when we're down big players. And then I think during this week, it's about building confidence. It's about getting young guys reps. I know the young guys in the program, and they are freaking talented. The problem is a lot of them are not ready. But I do think at some point you take a chance and you got to say, you know what, he might not be ready. And people used to get mad at my dad about that all the time. They'd be like, why isn't so-and-so transferring to 1AA school and getting drafted in the 3rd round? He should have been playing. It's like, because he didn't know the defense, but he was very talented. So it's like, there's that risk reward factor. And
well, Clint, can I stop you there for a second?
Yeah.
You know these dudes. You did all this recruiting, everything. I mean, literally all the data points. Is it worth redshirting guys anymore? Like, what's the statistic? Tell me one dude who's going to stay for 5 years if they redshirt. I mean, that statistic must have dropped drastically. So is it even worth saying we're going to redshirt you so we have you in 4 years?
Yeah, I don't redshirt anybody at this point unless they literally can't get in a game and actually, perform.
But is that across the landscape of college?
Yeah, I mean, people are doing it still. But
I think a lot of times that's just like more guys who are like literally there's just not a snap for them to get, like, if you are a true freshman, like defensive back or whatever, and you're the 4th string corner, there's probably not a whole lot of opportunities for you to get there. So you're getting like a default red shirt just because you didn't appear in 4 games because there weren't 4 blowouts big enough that the 3rd and 4th strings were on the field. Like, it's not like a planned red shirt. Like, I mean, we've had times, even in the recent past, I remember like a Michael Dieter, they were going to like get rid of his red shirt so he could play in, I think it was the Ohio State
Yeah, I remember
championship
that.
game where Big Ten title game where Wisconsin got absolutely blowed out. They were thinking about removing his red shirt for that, and they didn't, which was the right call, because he couldn't have helped prevent 59 points on that night. But now I think by the combination of transfer portal, NIL rules, extended red shirt, like you can play 4 games and still be technically redshirted. Like, I don't think it even matters. Like, it literally, that the redshirt rule doesn't matter anymore, because if you're that good, you're going to be in the pros after 3 seasons anyway.
Yep. Like, if you're good enough to be starting by your junior year, they're usually going to be a fringe NFL player, or they're going to transfer and take a bag to improve somebody else's need. So, like, you only do it, I think, at certain positions. So, like quarterback, yeah, if you can redshirt a kid, because quarterbacks over time, if they stay that extra year, guys go from 3rd to 1st round. Now you see the opposite too, but like, there's a certain amount of development that comes at that position, and only one guy's playing it. But for the rest of the positions, if I have to redshirt you, I'm trying to out-recruit you, okay? And we're recruiting off of projecting, okay? By your 3rd year in the program, you either reached our projection or you did not, right? So I either out-recruited you or you finally reached our projection. And there's no point at redshirting kids. There really isn't. You do it for the kid, I think. You can do it for the program. Like, there's times where it works out. Maybe, in the NIL era, a lot of reasons to actually stay in college. The problem with
what if you're that dude?
The transfer era makes it so you're redshirting for somebody else if they reach your projection. So to me, the red shirt doesn't really matter. I don't think they think about it too much unless it's an injury situation or the best kid's interest. But you got to get your best on the field when they're ready. You got to take chance with skilled kids, I think, because there's not enough going on where you're like, okay, we can be safe. At least we're not going to lose a game on offense, or, by putting this kid. Now on defense, you can lose a game by putting the wrong corner in too early. And you can screw up his career. I mean, I feel the same way about NFL quarterbacks. Like, everything's good until it isn't. And those are heady positions. And so, put guys in a position to succeed. Say, okay, what aren't we doing on the field? We're not explosive right now. Who's young and might not be ready, but they can fricking break a home run? Let's give them a chance. 3 snaps, 4 snaps, maybe create a small package for them. I'm not there every day, and that's why I hate making these comments, and I'm very pro-coach. Everyone knows that, but, I'll tell it how it is at the same time. I do think that I know the young talent that's on this team, and I think the coaches are doing right by the young talent and trying to build a program instead of win for the sake of just winning now. Like, this is a full transition of philosophy. This is a full transition of recruiting footprint. This is, it's the perfect storm, but you knew that when you were bringing the person in. The guy's a proven head coach. It's not like Luke Fickell forgot how to coach or build a program overnight. He's done more with less, but he is transitioning, and winning really masked the lack of recruiting that was going on when he came in. So not only did he not have players for his system, he didn't have enough players, period. But then that's also where I think you take a chance. Who's a guy who can hit a home run? Let's get him a couple plays. Let's get him some confidence. Maybe get him a dump down early on, and then maybe get him some play action screen where he's going down the seam, and somebody who's just a good athlete and is on the field for USC because they're a freak, but they don't pay attention in meetings all week. Maybe he runs past him. I don't know. But what we're seeing isn't exactly working, and it's not all coaching, though. It's circumstance. Like, 2 years in a row to have your transfer dude go down. And like when we saw in the bowl game, when the dude was in the system all year, even though he didn't play, like, it actually worked out. And so we got to be patient. As fans, we want it now, and every loss is a gone season. And there's not a lot to be excited about. But I think that's where you find out who you are as a team. You find out what kind of leaders you have. You can really analyze. And now that they have Maximus in a GM type role, like they're analyzing that roster and everybody else's roster. And so like, I think you get a really good chance to self-scout and build a program if you don't give in to the fans' needs. And I haven't lost faith in Fickle. It is, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to watch at sometimes right now. But I do know the young talent that they have, and I know that those guys are coming along, and some of those guys will be impact players by the end of the season. But we might be at a point when you lose your quarterback where you got to take a chance and put a kid in who's not going to get hurt because he's not physically ready, but he might not be, game day to the full establishment, know the full offense and everything ready. You might have to taking those chances to give yourself a chance to win.
But that's a lot to unpack right there, my friend.
Yeah, because I just babble.
No, it's great. I mean, I have so many questions. One, I haven't lost faith in Fickle, but can he, in this day and age, build a program? Like a program, not a team. Because this team and last year's team have 20 different people on it. You're not having dudes stay 3, 4, 5 years. Can you build a program, or are we going to consistently build a team each year like the NFL does, except they have contracts?
Yeah.
I have so many more thoughts. I mean, to me, the NIL should become the NFL. You have a 5-year contract. You have a 3-year contract. There's a cap. None of this is happening. It's the wild, wild west. So a Chucky Hepburn
for it.
Listen, a Chucky Hepburn who's been at Wisconsin for 4 years, who's just a good basketball player, maybe okay, gets $750 and a car to go to somewhere else. Why would he should do that? He's probably going to get $500K more. I would do it. So the question is, like, can you build a program in 2024 college NCAA?
I would say it like this. It's all about, when you're young, there's a million thoughts going through your head. It's an emotional roller coaster. You've been the man and you're a highly rated kid and everybody wanted to talk to you while you're being recruited. And all of a sudden you're like on scout team. You're like, well, what happened to me? So it's a mental game in college. And I just, there's a lot of like crossovers to life. And that's what football is. Like, let's develop a program where kids want to be around it, where, there's some people who money doesn't matter to them. Now, there's some people who had no money and they don't have a choice and they need to get that money while they can. Sure. I'll never fault a kid for that.
No, I think they should do it.
Yeah, 100%. But let's build an environment. And I could get into like studies on mice and stuff about this, but this is how deep I go with it. Let's build an environment that no matter what's happening on the exterior, I'm not going to leave my environment because this is home. All right. And so it's harder said than done, but it's about culture and it's about sticking to your process, your morals, your philosophy, and recruiting the kids who are going to buy into it. It goes back to, again, I'm not mad at you. I'm disappointed. If the kids care that you're disappointed, there's a reason they're there. Okay. Madison can provide enough. They can provide more NIL opportunities too. Believe me. You think Wisconsin couldn't find a way to match the dude's contract or whatever? Like, if you don't want to get in that game, that's your problem.
It's also, it's a dumb problem. I mean, you can't not get into the game. The game is set. The rules are the rules.
Like, you see Clemson right now.
It's not Uno where you just make up your rules. Literally, people are getting paid. That's what's happening. So, Clint, I got another question to unpack more. You haven't lost faith in Fickle. Neither have I. But what about, you've been around this life a lot. What about the other guys? There are a lot of coaches under Fickle. If the offense doesn't change, is Longo on the hot seat? If the defense doesn't change, is Tressel on the hot seat?
Yeah. Those are hard decisions.
they're very hard
they really
decisions.
are. Like, you come in, you got a guy who's had a lot of success. He didn't forget how to coach overnight. So if you work together well and you can find a way, so like it's hard for an offensive coordinator to play for a defensive head coach. It's even harder for a defensive coordinator to play for an offensive head coach or to coach for an offensive head coach. Because no matter what, if you're a defensive guy, and I think Saban's an anomaly with this, he cared about the amount of points that were scored every game just as much as he did winning early in his career. Mm-hmm. But he saw the game changing and he adapted to that. So we've done this big philosophical change. As long as the relationships in the building are good, I think, and there's no, because when the relationships fall apart, and I mean, I have no clue. I'm not that dialed in at all. I've been dealing with bigger things in life. You know, as long as there's a cohesiveness and we're all on the same page and we're in this battle together, I don't think you need to make the changes because you have a guy who's capable. Maybe you change some things up. Like, you've got to adapt. You've got to change. You change with the game. And if you don't, it leaves you behind. Fickle's young. Longo, you know, or youngish. He seems young. There's young people in the program who get it. I just think you don't want to be too quick to make the changes, especially when you consider the circumstances, because do you want to start all over? You know, I think about it at LSU with when my dad was down there for the national championship year. They bring in Joe Brady, who he was a quality control maybe with the Saints, and make him co-offensive coordinator. And the year before, Joe Burrow was nothing. He was playing under center. Well, he wasn't meant to play under center, you know? So I think there's things that you can change within your scheme and you adapt that way. I think you can do a lot more damage by just getting rid of somebody when you had a philosophical change that hadn't been recruited for, and the recruiting wasn't high for any standard at that point, but it was a well-coached team and it was a winning program. So it hid that. Like, you made this decision, and if this person's willing to adapt, then let's not make another change. You know what I mean? Like, change for the sake of change hurts everybody. Now, if the players hate a guy, or the guys, you know, this is what I'm going to do no matter what, and because my system works, like, yeah, then you probably have to cut bait because you hold on too long and it's too late. But I don't think right now change for the sake of change is good. This is still a Wisconsin program that had been built off of a certain brand of football, and they're adapting to the new age. So let's actually let them adapt. You throw somebody from 1850 into downtown New York today, they still might have some talent, but they're going to lose their freaking mind. So, like, give them a minute to adjust. Okay, the world's not falling.
Yeah. Well, also, you know, you've had. I'm more concerned about the excited play for the first two games, right? Than the Alabama. Listen, you're playing number 4 in the country. They've been good. They're in the playoffs every year. The playoffs have been there. You make a mistake against.
But the most successful coach ever.
Exactly. And if you make a mistake in a place that could really hurt you, these things happen. You're not going to win games. What I'm concerned about is that now, actually in Alabama, I thought we played the most physical we've ever played, which is freaking bat crazy. And LSU, cool, which is bananas to me, because why not beat up on a South Dakota and a Western Michigan? I'm more concerned with that is if, Clint, I'm with you. I actually like Phil Longo. But if I see the consistent play, it's not about liking people. If I see the consistent play, now I mean consistent in what they're doing now, not throwing the ball down the field. Tretch Kekahuna had 1 catch. He had 1 target. You're talking about we're not targeting other people. Like, there are things that I think we're doing on offense that are very frustrating from an offensive eye.
No question.
So my thing isn't, I don't think it should be, listen, I guess we reevaluate at the end of the year and be like, dude, we've been consistently for the whole year. Doesn't make me think that Phil Longo will be back next year. And I hate to say that. I don't think we cut bait because we're cutting bait. I think it's we got to improve, and each week we have to do it. And it doesn't matter if it's Van Dyke, who's not going to be there anymore, or if it's Braden Locke. We still have to play football, and there's 10 other guys on the field. How do we do it? So maybe the schemes have to change. I would like to see Longo say, listen, I got to protect this dude and do things he's good at. But we got to start. We still got to do things that are what every offense needs to do. You got to spread the ball around. You got to hit a bunch of different backs coming out of the backfield. You got to run with the QB to keep people honest. Like, there are just things. And that's what I need to see is consistently getting better each week. And I'm not going to lie, compared to South Dakota and Alabama, I thought we played better on offense, which is crazy. Not barring 2 fumbles that killed us.
Yeah,
we played better. We actually ran the ball against them a little bit.
Yeah,
we just never got Braden Locke rolling, and that to me is the harder part, because once you get a QB rolling, Shaber threw a freaking touchdown pass to number 3 Ohio State. He didn't play any game before that. What the heck? The guy comes in, he runs like 3 plays and throws a touchdown to Lee Evans. Granted, the best player on the field, Lee Evans, but he threw a perfect ball to him on a play that you just asked him to come off the field. Now,
Shabert's a gamer, though.
Shabert's a gamer, and he has a lot of screws that are missing in his.
That's how you become a gamer.
I don't disagree. So, my ramble is, I just want to see improvement. I actually thought the defense didn't play so bad. I just hate that we play with 2 D linemen. I would run the ball all day on that, especially the running quarterback. So, but again, the linebackers played better. The DBs played better. The 2 plays in the end of the second half, it's like everyone's head exploded. But outside of that, they competed. They played physical. Like, we're seeing that, to me, was a huge jump. So I need to see what happens next week against USC. Sucks that we have to go to USC to play another top 20 team. What are they now? Top 10? Top 15? I didn't look either.
I want to like 14.
I know their quarterback signed a cool NIL deal this week.
Dude, we can talk about this. There is now the business of athletics that these kids deal with. And I am so, like, I have no idea what that even looks like. Yeah. Like, you're like, okay, we just got out of a Saturday game. We won or we lost. Me, Clint, we're going to the KK or we're going to Wando's. There's nothing else in life. That's it. There's nothing else in life. My phone doesn't work. I just know I'm going to see all my guys at one of 2 bars, and I'm going to walk back and forth. My
phone is out of battery.
And I'm not going to charge it.
People.
Yeah, I'm going to find the $25 I have and get a 30 rack of whatever Schlitz or whatever.
No,
and get bombed.
Mad Dog back then or something.
Old Milwaukee, like all these terrible beers. And then I knew I need to save like $5 to get 3 Ian's pizza slices or 2 Ian's pizza slices.
Oh, dude! And
now you get off. But Clint, you know better than me, and this is a whole different discussion. But now you get out, and what do? You have to meet with your team to talk about a deal that might go down Monday that you have to sign. Like, this world is bat crazy to me, the NCAA. And I don't know what I would be like as an NCAA today compared to what I was. Like, you can't go and disparage your brand, right? Like, I can't have somebody videotape me falling out of Wando's.
No, and there was no Facebook like our freshman year. You know, there wasn't like camera phones and everything. And it's just so much different. And the circumstances make everything different. But at the end of the day, you got to play the game that's being played. And so, you asked for it. Like, you wanted to get paid. All right, go out and get paid. And if you're not getting paid, prove why you should be. And if money doesn't matter to you, play even better because you love the game. You love being a part of Wisconsin. Like, I don't know. I agree with you. Let's take baby steps. What really, really is encouraging to me, I thought the offensive line, when I saw them getting stood up by FCS players or lower level players, when that's a Wisconsin staple, for them to all of a sudden step up with some of the freakiest D linemen. Like, there might only be a yard of separation. Those guys are firing off the ball like a freaking Ferrari off off of a stop sign. And they came to play. So all of a sudden we're like, oh, is offensive line a strength? And maybe next week, a new position emerges and a new position emerges. And so you hope things gel, and then at some point they all come together. There's going to be bad bounces. They got bad bounces. You're not going to beat Alabama with bad bounces. Ryan Williams is going to score a touchdown because he's faster than everybody in the state that he walks into. That's just what's going to happen. And he's not even a legal adult. And so it's a different deal. Wisconsin's going to win, not because they're more talented. They're going to win because there's a program that's been built. They know their strengths and they're developing it. The thing that's different now is I know what's young on that roster. I know the caliber of players. Now, there's a lot of NFL caliber players. A lot of them are projections, though, And so the projection type and the guys who end up at Wisconsin are going to could be a first round draft pick or might not play until his senior year. But there's dudes in the program who have a chance to be difference makers. And if we can start working them in, if things can start gelling like we saw the offensive line last week, hopefully that's something we see consistently moving forward.
I would like that.
Yeah. I mean, the defensive backs have done a good job and they've been playing on islands. I love the way the linebackers were playing off of blocks and downhill. I don't know if I'm biased, but I like Tackett Curtis a lot. I think we need to manufacture a pass rush because we're playing with 2 down linemen, not because we're like, this is the best way to stop an NFL offensive line that could probably start most places in the NFL as a collective group. It's out of circumstance. There's not enough bodies right now. And so let's manufacture some stuff. Tackett Curtis played safety in high school. He can still come off the edge. So I think there's hope. There's young talent. I refuse to give up on anything that I'm passionate about.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just me. Like I said, when I was at Minnesota, we were the worst team I've ever been around. North Dakota State just like beat the crap out of us, and our players were like laying on the ground. And I was so upset, but I knew we were going to beat Ohio State the next week, so it was going to be okay. And like that's just the mentality that has to be there. And
I'll say this. Sorry, Clint, to cut you off. I'll say this. You bring up some good points. JD said it best. He said, when I showed up and Barry showed up, we had dudes, but they didn't play well together. Don Davey was a stud. He said the rest of the guys, like, they just didn't gel. Troy Vincent. Eddie Fletcher, who I just hung out with way too much and who I love. I adore.
Oh, Eddie's the man.
The best. But these guys were some of the best players to ever play at Wisconsin, and they didn't win a lot of games because they didn't play together. And I think that's where – and also, it took Barry a couple years, too, to win a Rose Bowl. It wasn't overnight.
5-6. 5-6. I remember being at the game against Northwestern. Jason Burns, we're going in to score. I was so happy that we were going to go to a bowl game and then a fumble.
Yeah. So think about that. It's 3 years of really bad teams with good dudes. And I think
well, you don't get fired nowadays. You don't get the 10-1-1 that came after that.
Right. So we have to listen, everyone has to evolve. It's a brand new day. That's what my kid says.
Brand new day.
It's a brand new day.
Oh my God. I wish I woke up like that. I look at my son wake up in the morning and I'm like, God, Lord, can you imagine being like, oh my God, it's another day. Greatest day ever.
Brand new day.
That's how we need to think as Badger football fans.
Let's go to the park. It's time to play.
You know what?
Time to play.
Here's what I'll say. It is the best day ever when I get to hang out with the two of you guys. So
and we just babble about nothing.
Exactly. That's
it's
the
all
whole
beautiful.
Point. It's I mean, that's what we're here for, though, right? We're a cohesive unit as a group.
I love you guys.
You know, we've got a culture where guys feel safe at Believe in Badgers. They want to come back.
The trust tree.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're here for. We do have to wrap it up here today. Clint's back. We love having you, buddy. You guys know how to get in touch with Clint at I am Clint C on Twitter these days, I think. Something along those lines.
No more Rivals Poppy. Yeah. I am Clint _C, I think.
Something like that. We'll link to it.
Rivals Poppy, though. That's not so bad either. It should be El Jefe. That's what it should be.
El Jefe.
Well, they let me change it once every month or so if I want to. So See,
Well,
there might be something in the bag.
I hope that there is. But NIL Clint. Ooh, maybe soon in the line. But either way, we'll be having you back, and we appreciate everyone tuning in here to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag and Oakbridge Wealth Management. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, on Wisconsin.
I can say it now. On Wisconsin.